Welcome to my channel and welcome to my summer TBR. These are going to be the 9 books that I want to read this summer. I did say 9 because usually with my seasonal TBRs I do around 20 books and I haven't had the best luck with that because it's way too many books. And also since it's currently the end of May and I have read 23 books, I do think that it's better if I just do 9 books. You know, 9 books in 3 months seems a bit more doable than 20 books in 3 months. And also I'm obviously gonna read more summer books. It's just these are the books that I need to read. That's my goal for the summer, to read these books. And because I'm not doing that many books, I decided to do only physical books, basically books that I have on my physical TBR, because I have a lot of books on there and I don't want to anymore. You know, I kind of want to take them down a bit. No, actually that's a lie. I don't mind having a lot of books on my physical TBR, but I want the books to be new and not just have the same books that I have had for the past 3 years on there, if that makes any sense. Without further ado, let's just get into the 9 books that I want to read this summer. Okay, first things first, I have The Italian Job by Catherine Freeman. I have had this book for a year and a half at this point, and I think that it's about 2 people, dream job, dream house, fake fiance. Oh, wait, this takes place in Lake Como? Wait, I kind of love that because I was just there, and by that I mean 1 month ago. I was literally in Lake Como. Okay, yeah, I really want to read that. Basically, we have Anna and Jake, and Anna finds this ad about this job, her dream job essentially, because what she needs to do is live in this house and take care of it, and that house is in Lake Como. So she's like, okay, that's amazing, but in order to get that job she needs to be married and they're only giving that job to a married couple basically. So she's like, okay, that's a bummer, but I have this neighbor Jake who they don't really like each other, but she's like, I can get past that if I'm staying in a villa in Lake Como. So they end up pretending to be a couple in order to get that job and in order to be in that villa. I'm hoping that it's gonna have a lot of Italian Lake Como vibes because basically I went to Milan and then we did a day trip to Lake Como and I was obsessed. Milan, it was fine, but it wasn't anything special for me. Lake Como, I was obsessed. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be the first book. It's a pretty short one, so I'm hoping that it's gonna be pretty easy. And also reading this while being outside in the sun sounds like a dream. Oh, I kind of wish that I was going to Lake Como again because reading this in Lake Como, like watching the lake, a dream. But I definitely don't have the budget for that, so my balcony will have to do. I'm gonna have them over here. You can barely see it, but it's fine. Okay, the next book is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the second book. I don't know the name of the series. In the Icebreaker series, I feel like they have a name, but I don't know it. Anyways, this is the second book in that series. I read Icebreaker years ago at this point. I think when it first came out, probably around I want to say 2021, but I might be wrong. And since then, I'm pretty sure that the series is done. It's a trilogy. The third book has also come out, obviously. So I still have not read the second one. I really want to focus on finishing series this year because I am in the middle of so many. And at this point, it's a bit ridiculous because the more that I put it off, I'm just going to forget about them. I'm just going to forget what happens. And then what's the point? It's about Aurora and Rush. They have a one-night stand at a party. They end up working in the same camp. So apparently there is some tension between them, but the camp has a strict no staff fraternizing rule. So they're trying to keep the distance. And I'm thinking that that just doesn't work. I'm curious to read it. I'm curious to see how I will feel about it because I did really like the first book, Icebreaker. I know that a lot of people had some mixed thoughts on that book, but at least at the time that I read it, I really liked it and I had a lot of fun with it. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna like this book also. Yeah, I'm curious to see how I will feel about it. So this is the second book. Then we have Mr. Nash's Ashes by Sarah Adler. The only thing that I know about this book is that I think our female main character has to go on this road trip in order to throw someone ashes in the ocean in a specific part, and then for some reason this guy also comes with her. It sounds a bit bizarre because, you know, just doing a road trip to throw ashes of a person. So it sounds a bit bizarre to me, but I'm curious about it. I'm interested. I have heard good things about this author. I think that she had another book that a lot of people liked. I don't always love a road trip book, but there has been instances where I have really fallen in love with it. And one of those instances is Here We Go Again by Alison Colhran. It's one of my 5-star books, and obviously it's a book that takes place in a road trip. Who knows? Maybe I will love this book. The next book that I have is Summer Reading by Jen McKinley. This book I have heard a lot of people talking about, and I think that it got a lot of, not hype, but a lot of people were talking about it because the font of this book is made for people that are dyslexic. It uses a specific font that is supposed to help, printed in dyslexic friendly font. So I don't know if all of her books are like this or if it's just this one. I don't know anything else about this book. I'm guessing that it has to do with reading because it's in the title. Once I see a book that is about books, I automatically buy it and I automatically want to read it. It is a bit on the... Oh, there's a recipe on the back. There's multiple recipes on the back. Wait, that's fun. It's about cooking? Apparently, there's some cooking in this. So it's a book about books and cooking. My two favorite things. Okay, now I'm really excited about it. This author has a lot of books that are about books. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna like it in order to buy more. So this is the fourth book on my TBR. Then, kind of a random book, kind of not. It's The Wedding People by Alison Espach. This is a pretty recent addition to my physical TBR. And the only reason why I want to put it on my summer TBR is because I'm pretty sure it takes place in summer. I might be wrong on that, but there's a sea in the front and she goes to this resort for vacation. So this is not a fun light rom-com. It's not a romance at all. I'm pretty sure at least. This is about a female main character. She basically goes to this resort, kind of like her last hurrah, and then she's going to end her existence, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Pretty sure that you know what this book is about. But while she's at that resort, there's this wedding going on and somehow she ends up becoming a bridesmaid, I think. And she ends up forming a friendship with the bride. And through that, I guess she kind of learns stuff about life. And I just find it very interesting, especially as a person that struggles with mental health. I'm really curious to see how it's done and how the female main character changes her mind and learns that life is worth it. I'm curious about it. It is more literary fiction, which is something that I don't usually read, but I definitely want to read more of. So yeah, I think that this is just going to be the first book that I'm going to try in that genre, and hopefully I will like it because the subject of it seems very, very interesting. The next book that I have is The Summer I Saved You by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is the second book in the Summer series. I'm gonna be fully honest, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this book. I read the first book last summer, and I hated it. I hated it with a passion. I'm hoping that this book is not gonna be like that because I have read books from Elizabeth O'Rourke. I read the Devil series from her and I loved it, especially the first two books. They were so good. I don't know what happened with the first book in this series, so I do want to read it this summer. The good thing is that they are pretty short. What I didn't like about the first book, I didn't like the characters and there was cheating in that book, and I don't care who does the cheating. I don't care if you're cheating in order to be with the guy that you're in love with. I just don't care. If it's cheating, I'm not okay with it. So I'm hoping that this will not have that, so that it's a bit more bearable at least. I don't know. I just don't want to write off this series, especially because I do have 4 books. I have the first 4 books in this series, so I want to give it a second chance before I decide that this is not for me. I don't know what it's about. I just know that it's the second book in that series, so I'm guessing that it takes place in the same small town. I don't know if it's with any of the characters of the first book. Even if it is, I probably don't remember them, so it wouldn't really matter to me. The next book is another one that I'm not that excited about, but I need to read it, and that is Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. The biggest reason why I'm not excited about this book is because I'm pretty sure that this is young adult. I do not like young adult. I used to love it when I was a young adult. Now that I'm 24, it just feels so far for me. I'm talking about young adult when they're in high school or when they're barely out of high school. I can do college romances, especially when they're written in a more mature way because I'm in uni, so it makes sense what they're doing and how they're acting. But when it's young adult to the point where they're fresh out of high school or when they're still in high school, I just feel such a disconnect from the characters that it's so hard for me to actually read about them and connect with them. This is young adult, and I'm pretty sure that it's bad boy, good girl, which is a very stereotypical thing. I'm not saying that it cannot be done in a good way and that I can never like that trope. I'm just saying that it's not something special that is making me intrigued, if that makes any sense. So we have our female main character who is Mac, and she's 20 years old and she moves to this beachside town in order to get her college degree. But there she meets the local bad boy, Cooper, and apparently in the beginning they obviously don't like each other because she's a good girl, so she doesn't like the bad boy, and the bad boy doesn't like her because she's a good girl. That's the plot. I have the second book in the series too. Thank God I didn't buy the third book, but I'm guessing that I'm probably gonna read that also at some point if I end up reading the first 2. I think it's just a trilogy, so we'll see. We'll think about that when we get there. For now, this is the book that I want to read because I have had this on my physical TBR 3 years, maybe even 4. So this needs to go. I need to read this to see if I like it. I haven't read anything else from Elle Kennedy. The Deal with the Off-Campus series is really big right now with a TV show. I haven't even watched it. I know that it's a pretty big and pretty well-known author at this point. I haven't read anything from her because nothing has sounded really interesting to me, to be fully honest. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna read this. and maybe if I like it, I'm gonna read more books from this author. Okay, actually the last two books, I didn't do it on purpose, but the last two books are very exciting. The first one is Betrayed by Emily Henry. Finally, I'm gonna read this book this summer. I'm giving you my word. I have had this book for, I want to say 2 years, a year and a half. And obviously this is a much older book. I have all of her books since Betrayed, not her older ones. And I haven't read a single one of them. And I kind of want to do like a binge session where I read all of her books in like a week or something. I have heard incredible things about this book, incredible things about Book Lovers and Happy Place and even Funny Story. I think that those are her most well-loved books. People We Met on Vacation and Great Big Beautiful Life, I think have some people that don't love them, but I'm really curious to read all of them. As you can see, I have the US editions because I don't love the UK ones. I saw the paperback of Great Big Beautiful Life, the UK version, and I think that it's really pretty actually, but with the other ones, I don't love them. I prefer the US editions way more, and they're also floppy, which the UK ones could never. So yeah, this is about Augustus and January. Wait, those are the names? Oh yeah, okay, I remember which book this is. I know kind of what happens with all of her books, like the premise of them. I get them confused. This is about Augustus. He's a literary fiction author, and January writes a romance, and then they end up going to this vacation, and both of them are kind of struggling to write, so they decide to kind of switch genres, and I think that that's the whole premise of the book. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but obviously I have not read the book yet. The annoying part about this book is I have gotten one quote spoiled for me, which is really sad. I'm hoping that that's not going to affect my reading, and I'm hoping that when I see that quote, I'm not going to be disappointed that I was already expecting it and I knew about it. When a book is really popular, it's really hard to miss spoilers, to miss all of the spoilers. And the last book that I have on my summer TBR is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I'm so excited to read this book. I'm currently reading Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and I'm really liking it so far. I'm hoping that it's going to be a 5-star, but we'll see. I'm pretty early in the book to know if it's going to be, but I'm hoping. So this is the third book in the Part of Your World series. Part of Your World was a 5-star read for me. The second book, obviously I'm enjoying it so far, so I'm hoping that I'm really gonna like this one. I remember when this came out, everyone was raving about it and everyone was loving it, so I'm hoping that I'm also gonna love it. I don't know what it's about. Wait, I forgot about this. I think when it first came out, everyone was talking about how it's kind of a weird premise, but it low-key kind of worked. Basically, we have our male main character, and he basically believes that he's cursed. So every single person that he's in a relationship with, when they break up with him, that they go on to find their soulmate. So he's like, okay, I'm cursed. And then we have a female character who has the same issues. He's like, I am also cursed. So they decide to kind of date in order to cancel out the curse, if that makes any sense. I forgot that this is the premise of this book, but I'm so excited now. I remember when I read it, I was like, okay, this sounds really interesting and really fun, and it kind of sounds like the perfect plot of a rom-com. I know that this is not going to be a rom-com because Abby Jimenez always writes a more serious topic in her books, which is something that I love, but that part sounds so fun. So I'm really curious to see how it's done, and I'm guessing obviously since they go on dates, it's gonna be kind of like fake dating, which is one of my favorite tropes. So yeah, this is the last book that I have on my TBR for summer. These are all of the books that I want to read this summer. I'm really excited about them, and I'm hoping that because I have only 9 books, I'm not gonna be overwhelmed and I'm gonna be able to actually read every single one of them. That is the end of this video. Let me know any books that you are looking forward to reading this summer. I'm actually looking forward to reading most of these books. There are a couple that I'm like, oh, I don't know about them. I don't know if I'm gonna like them, but I still am looking forward to just have them out of my physical TBR. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that I will see you in my next one. Bye!
You give me butterflies when you smile, and it feels so good.